Hey guys, SimCoder here, and today we are going to learn how we can put the data that's on our database inside a table for the drivers. And it will show just the ride history and some elements like the price, the distance, if the user, what's the status on the payout, and everything like that. Okay, so let's get right into it, and the first thing that we gotta do is to actually put a table inside the main activity. And the way I'm going to do that is by using let me just get one more thing. Okay, while that loads, we are going to use Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a framework for CSS HTML framework that makes it easy for you to build tables and to do all sort of stuff, because it takes care of the boring part of it for you. So it makes your site look pretty even though you didn't put a lot of work into it. And so you'll see it work in a second. So first of all, we must copy and paste this GS file, and I believe the other one as well. Okay, but we'll do it in a second. So just copy and paste that inside here. Can save that up, and we'll actually need also this link right here. And you can copy, they have a button there. And this link is not going to go inside here, it is going to go inside the head tag. Okay, so now that's all, and you can take a look. I don't know where they have it, but I'm sure it is somewhere along here. Documentation, there you go. Components. Okay, so they have here a lot of examples, and as you can see, I'll advise you to go there. It is really pretty and simple to implement. I was looking to see if there were tables here. Okay, here we go. This is what we are going to use, and I believe, okay, it doesn't matter. And as you can see, tables have this form, and first of all we call table, then thread, then tr, and in this tr it will be the first line where it just tells the user what each column is. And then we'll have the body, which will have all the data. Okay, so it is really simple, and I'm going to show you in a second how that works out. So yeah, let's go inside here, and below the div for the sign out button, you'll say table class, and Bootstrap, you differentiate each and every single object with classes. So for table, you say table space table striped, and this table striped is one of the tables that they have inside here, but you can choose wherever you want. For example, this is table this is one is table dark, it is all blacked out. This one didn't have anything. This one is table striped, it appears intercalated, so dark, white, dark, and so on. And striped, table dark. So you can see, you can place a lot of things into here. So I'll advise you to go and check it out. It is really cool what these guys have done. So close this tag, table, and now let's call the thread okay, tr, and this will be kind of like the header for our table, tr, and it will have, so th is one of the columns, th is the column, so I'm sorry. So the first one will be date, th, and we'll have three more actually. The second one will be distance, the third one will be money, and the fourth will be payment status. Okay, it is as simple as that. And then obviously we'll have the th body, which will have the t body, which will have everything that makes up the data on the table, in the table. So yeah, let's close that up, t body, and let's give it an ID of ride history table. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I believe that's all. Slim min. And I'm actually going to import a jQuery library because I don't believe this is enough. So make sure you have it. I said in the last lesson, the difference is this one is slim and this one is not. I said I wasn't going to use it, and I'm not sure if we are, but I'll put it just in case. So yeah, jQuery, as I said, is a library that allows you to write faster and simpler JavaScript. So it isn't a language of its own, as many people think. It is JavaScript. Don't be mistaken by it. But it's just a kind of like a framework to make things easier. So yeah, now that that's done, I'm rambling a bit. Let's go inside the main.json, and in here we are going to call a function called get rides, and this function is the one that's going to get both the IDs of the rides, and I'm going to pull up the database just so that you can understand. Oops, I have to drivers working, no drivers of users, drivers. Give me a second, I have to find a user. Okay, so here we go. In the case of this driver right here, we are in users, drivers, child. In case of it, we'll have the history right here, so we have to look through each and every single ID, and when we find an ID, we have to go inside history and get the data from it. Okay, so the logic is the same as the Android, as we did in Android, so nothing to worry about there. One thing that's different is how we get the user ID. So we get it by going inside the offstate change function, because it is called every time this page is loaded, and say else if user is null, then go back to login, else get rides right here. And the reason I'm going to do this is because then we can simply call a global variable called UID equals to user.uid, and this user is the variable that's passed inside here, and we can go up here, var UID equals to nothing. Give some space, okay. And then we can get the rights. It is really simple, so just give some space. So const, and this is for constant, so history db, and as I've said, the logic is really similar, as you can see. So it will be Firebase dot database dot ref, not inside here but after, dot ref dot child users dot child drivers dot child UID dot child history. And the similarities between this and what we did in Android Studio are astonishing, because in Android Studio we'll say firebase.getDatabase.getReference, and then we'll put the child. Right in here it is just database and then dot reference. So it's actually simpler than the Android Studio one. So great. And now we have to call the add single event value listener, and we do that by saying, first of all, getting this variable, and then we say dot once value, and this is the same as saying add single value event listener, so it will only get the data once, and it won't be looking through the database for changes in the future. Dot then function, and then we simply use our good old friend snapshot, and after that we open that up, add the semicolon at the end, and there we go. Now we'll get the data snapshot that we need. Okay, so now we can simply use a for to look through the data that's inside this child and get every single ID that's inside the history, inside the driver's child. So for write ID in snapshot.val. So this one will pass the snapshot val.val inside the right ID, so we can get the right ID at any time. So yeah, now we can simply grab this, and instead of driver history DB, we can call it simply history DB. And now we only need history, right ID, and clear everything else. So this one will point inside the history child, and I'm not going to close that up because it is hard to find again, but it is the history child, main child. Okay, so history, make sure you don't have any errors, otherwise that will be expensive in the future. So in here it is UID without the things, because this is the variable that we got inside here. So const history DB, we are ready to continue. So I'm going to copy this listener again, because we are going to call it inside here, but some things will change. So we can remove this, and that's it. So now we have to get the data that's inside the history, each and every single history. So let me go in here. So the customer paid, distance, driver, location, rating, etc. So let's just initialize variables for that and get the data out of here. So var data equals to history. So I'm going to give it a name of history snapshots, just so that you don't mix up these two snapshots. So history snapshot dot val, and this will be so that the history snapshot is something that we can read rather easily, kind of like an array, so that we don't have any trouble getting it out. So var, the first thing that we'll get is the customer paid, which will be set to true if the customer has already paid within the app. And then say data, and this data, and if you open the brackets and then say customer paid, will give us what's inside the history snapshot, which is exactly what we need. Okay, so now we can copy and paste that and say driver paid out, and I'm getting all this information so that we can build the payment status inside the table. So driver paid out. Then we need the timestamp. Then we need the distance to get both the price of the ride and the distance in and of itself, and then ride price, which will be distance times 0.4, and we get our 0.1 percentage because as you can remember, the customer pays out distance times 0.5, and if the customer pays distance times 0.5, and if the driver only gets distance times 0.4, then we get a small percentage there. And oops, not that, 0.4. And then we are going to because now the timestamp, and I'm going to go point by point, the timestamp, the way it is, we can read it, so we must translate it into something that we can read. So to do that, we simply say var ts new date timestamp times 1000, and it will convert it into a date that as common mortals can read, because the timestamp doesn't tell us anything, unless you are a computer, of course. If you are a computer, then you'll understand it, obviously. Okay, so now let's get all the objects that we have right here for the table, and we do that by saying var t body equals to document dot get element by id ride history table history table. I'm going to copy and paste that just so that we don't make any mistakes. So write history table, then we can copy and paste that twice for the tr and th, tr th, and the reason I'm going to do this, because this is the way you add things to HTML through JavaScript. So you have to get these things and then the t-body to make it work. Okay, so yeah, we can now move on and go to the next part, which is to create oh, I'm sorry. I was making a mistake here. I was getting confused because it didn't look alright, but it is create element, because we are going to create an element to put inside the t-body, because by getting element you would get these things and you don't need them. You need to place something new inside the t-body, and the way you do this is by creating a new element. Okay, so that was the problem. I'm sorry about that. Then we need a th scope equals to document point create attribute okay scope, and this is just due to the fact that you need to place it so that it is something from Bootstrap, because if you don't place a scope there with row, then it won't work out just fine. It won't show one light, one dark, one light, one dark. I believe that's the problem, and that's why they use it. So let's place it as well. And the scope's name is called row. So row, and we are going to set this attribute to the th element that we created up here. So let's say that by saying set attribute node th scope. Okay. Then we have to create the elements that will go inside the tr and inside the th. And as you can see up here, actually this isn't the best example. Let me grab the Bootstrap again. And as you can see, these are the elements, and inside we have the th, and then we have a td below it, which will contain all the information that we want. So in this case you have mark, auto, and @mdo. So a mark, auto, @mdo. So yeah, that's exactly what we need. And this th was just to show the number. And because they use it, I'm going to use it as well, just to keep things coherent and so that you can understand it better. But now we are going to create the td, which will create the mat, auto, whatever, so contain the data that we need. Td time, which will be the timestamp, in this case the date, because we already made the transition up top. Document dot, and we can actually grab this, create elements, and it will be an element of the type td, and we are going to need 3 more. Go up here, and go up here. And the next one will be td customer paid, td distance, and td price. Okay, and now we have to take care of the customer paid, and I'm actually going to open up the web page where I have this up and running so that you can understand it. And let me just log in, driver@driver.com, 1 2 3 4 5 6 driver.com. Okay, and as you can see, the payment status, which will be this td customer paid, has pending, ready, and paid. So it is pending when the customer hasn't paid. It is ready when the customer has paid but the driver hasn't received the payout, and it is paid when the customer has paid and the driver has received the payout, and the colors of the rows change accordingly. So that's what we are going to do now, and we do that by implementing a series of ifs. So if driver paid out is different from true, and you shouldn't say equal to false, because if the driver hasn't been paid out, then there's nothing there, and when there's nothing inside the variable or whatever, the JavaScript calls it undefined. Okay, so it's just to make sure that it knows that it isn't, because if you said equals to false, if this is undefined, which is basically the same thing, but JavaScript won't know, so it won't work as you want it to. So after that, say and customer paid different from true, which is the same thing as saying that the customer hasn't paid. Then we say td customer paid dot inner HTML equals to pending. Okay, and inner HTML, it's the same thing as going inside here and writing wherever, so inside the title and writing wherever. Okay, and then we are going to change the tr.class name, not change add, and it will be table danger. The reason I'm doing that is because in Bootstrap they have a series of names for let me see if I can get it down here. Okay, so they have this, and as you can see, if you set the class to something different, so primary, secondary, success, danger, it will change the color accordingly. So warning is yellow, danger is red, and success is green, which is what we need. Okay, so, and this is doing just that. Now we can say else if and copy and paste that. If driver paid out different from true and and customer paid equals to true, then we say ready to pay out and change the danger to a warning, because the warning is color, it's yellow. Then if customer paid equals true and driver paid out equals to true as well, which means the driver has been paid out, then we say paid and table success. Success, okay. Success. And okay, so now all that's left is to add everything and throw them at the table and say stay there. Okay, so the first thing that we still have to add the inner HTML to everything else, so let me do that really quick. Time.inner HTML equals to ts.to date string. Okay, that will convert it. That will convert everything to a date. That's a function that we use. And then we say td. Actually, I'm going to copy and paste this. Td distance equals to distance. In here there's not a lot of changes, and then td price equals to price, and we have this variable set up here. So yeah, price. It isn't price, it is no, it is driver ride price, I'm sorry. So yeah, then we need to put it all together, and the first thing that we have to do is to connect these TDs to the tr element that we created up here. So we do that by saying tr.append child td time, and do the same for everyone else. So td distance, and all that does is place the TDs inside the tr, okay, which is exactly what we need. TD price, TD customer paid, TD customer paid, okay, and then we append the tr, we append the th to the tr as well. tr.append child th, and then we append the tr to the tbody. So this is a lot of childs inside childs, so make sure you understand them before moving on. It isn't that hard, but you have to keep close attention to everything. So tr will be inside the tbody. Okay, so I believe that's all. I mean, there's not that much to do. Let's just save this and see if no errors pop up when we go inside here. So I am currently logged in. Let's refresh the page. And there we go, there's an error. So give me just a second and I'll get back to you. Okay, so after a lot of headbanging around, I finally got around to the issue, and we have two. So the first of which is this ref, which is a function obviously and not a variable, and so it needs the parentheses, and I forgot to place them. The second was one of these vowels, history snapshot, that didn't have the parentheses as well. Besides that, it was all fine, instead with the exception of one thing, which is the inner HTML. In here, HTML is all capitalized, so that was my bad. I'm so used to Android Studio correcting these small things for me that they just slip past me when it comes to JavaScript. So yeah, let's save that and go inside our page. Again, let's log in. Sign in, and the table should appear without any problem. And there we go. So if you want to compare to your database, you are more than free to do so. Yeah, so these first ones was from a time where we didn't have the history all made up. That's why they appear with this none and define. So yeah, now there shouldn't be any problem with that. So yeah, I mean, that's it. It looks nice. So yeah, in the next lesson we'll make the payouts, and I believe that will be all. I really don't know if there's anything else to do. So yeah, I mean, I'll continue releasing some bug patches, and I still want to do some live streams to talk to you guys about the app and everything around it. So but yeah, for now that's all. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, then please leave a like and subscribe. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. So ciao.